Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So how many of you in the XRP community also own XLM? Put it down in the comments. I'm curious to know. Over the years we've been analyzing XRP compared to XLM, we have not seen as many partnerships with the Stellar team. Obviously, we know the history of Jed McCaleb and Ripple, and some of us think I don't want to have anything to do with that company because of the history. However, there's some interesting information that I'm going to talk about today that leads me to believe that XLM could play a more important part than we think. Now, that's not to say XRP is not going to play an important part, guys. Of course, I still stand by my XRP investment. I've got XLM up here right now on the daily, up about 8.5 cents. We've seen a bit of a spike. Ultimately, the crypto market, though, is still moving with Bitcoin. Right now, XRP is trading just above 24.5 cents. We saw a bit of a spike on the daily, and BTC on the daily also trading at about 11,480, just shy of 11,500. If we look at XRP on the hourly, let's put it on the hourly for a second here, and we can see there was some major movement here. After coming out of this level of support, XRP shot up about 0.5 cent, and we put XLM on here, and we can see some movement for XLM as well. What is happening? How is it significant? And is it significant? I mean, on CoinMarketCap, XLM has dropped over the years. It used to be in the top 10, if my memory serves me correctly, in the CoinMarketCap list. And now it is listed at number 17 with a market capitalization of about 1.7 billion. Many other cryptocurrencies have moved their way up into the space. And so has a financial reset happened? Are we still waiting? Are we in the middle of it and just don't know? I saw this from Val Jester Locke. There has to be ashes for a phoenix to rise. The market crash is ready to be introduced. This will catch many off guard. They have society in a way that all it takes now is a small shove over. Stay vigilant like a whirlwind or a thief in the night. We do need something. We do need an inciting incident in order to, I think, trigger the economic reset. But I found this interesting, guys. This from Crypto Whale. Tomorrow is the anniversary, meaning today is actually the anniversary of the 1987 black market crash. Now look at the S&P 500. The red indicates 1987, and the green indicates today. So look at this chart here. We saw similar trends throughout the summer, moving up. We saw that correction back when the beer flu hit, and then a recovery, okay, making its way up. And the green, guys, let's not forget, the green represents today and the red represents 1987. Then look what happened on Black Monday, October 19th, 1987. The stock market crashed, and the rest was history. It could also be that they announce a financial reset or a rejigging of the economy, a grand overhaul, and that's what could cause the market to crash. People losing confidence, taking their money out of stocks, bonds, any other types of traditional assets. Fiat currencies could also see a shaking, and then cryptocurrency assets could see more money being pumped into them. Interesting to note, I wanted to thank Crypto Whale for posting that. Guys, I also saw this from James Rural XRP. This has to do with the economy. The IMF has now admitted that China has overtaken the US as the world's largest economy, but we are not hearing this in the media, so the world is waking up to a new reality post the devastating pandemic that brought everything to a grinding halt. One of them is the rise of China as the undisputed new economic power. According to the IMF's World Economic Output 2020 released recently, China has now overtaken the United States to become the world's largest economy. Yes, you read that right. The International Monetary Fund, using the most reliable and now widely accepted yardstick called the Purchasing Power Parity, or the PPP, has determined China's economy at $24.2 trillion compared to America's $20.8 trillion. The PPP calculation method used by the IMF enables you to compare how much you can buy for your money in different countries. The economists have traditionally been using the MER, market exchange rates, to calculate the GDP, which doesn't reflect the real figures. The MER method is being viewed with extreme suspicion because it underestimates the buying power of the currencies of many countries. As a result, the currencies of many nations are undervalued against the dollar. So with this new index, they are suggesting that China's economy is actually larger than the US economy. We're not hearing about it in major news. Sounds like they want to keep the most important information, at least to you and I and the rest of America, under wraps so that we do not make any rash moves, i.e. take our money out of the bank and put it into something safer like precious metals or cryptocurrencies, both of which I have already done. So We've also got this, guys. Another one from James Rule XRP with regards to Fidelity. So Fidelity is waking up. Bitcoin investment thesis. This is their thesis on a Bitcoin investment portfolio. So he links here the title page. Can I buy cryptocurrencies at Fidelity? I found this interesting, though, because although Fidelity is openly saying to their customers, hey, look, you can buy cryptocurrencies here, you know, it should be part of your investment portfolio, so on and so forth. Retail brokerage customers cannot buy or sell any cryptocurrencies at Fidelity. However, those who have a Coinbase digital currency account can arrange to view those balances on Fidelity.com. Although Bitcoin futures are now available for trading on the CBOE and the CME, Fidelity does not currently have any plans to offer Bitcoin futures trading for its retail brokerage customers. So the moms and pops of the world still can't get in on this through Fidelity. We have to figure it out on our own. Fidelity obviously here protecting their big investors, big money, institutional grade investors, and saying, oh, well, you only want to invest $10,000. I do not care about that. You are a pittance and don't really contribute to our bottom line. And so you're going to have to figure this out on your own. Interesting to note. Now let's keep moving. Guys, I saw this from Crypto Dash. The good news is that Bitstamp now adds crypto crime insurance for assets held online. So remember, I've been telling you not your keys, not your crypto. Well, apparently with this platform, Bitstamp, one of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchanges, they have now introduced an insurance policy that covers the theft and other losses of user funds held on its platform. So if the cryptocurrency exchange does get hacked, they at least have an insurance policy that could cover some, if not all, of the cryptocurrency that you hold on the exchange. The Europe-based exchange says that the new insurance policy will be provided by Paragon International Insurance Brokers. Fine, the underwriters will consist of various insurance companies. Great. The policy applies to digital assets such as Bitcoin that are held at the exchange both on and offline and covers a number of crime-related circumstances. But obviously, guys, read the fine print because it covers a number of crime-related circumstances, perhaps not everything. So just be careful what you're signing up for. If you do indeed have a Bitstamp account and wish to just keep your cryptocurrency on the exchange, the other thing you must realize is you might be insured for up to a certain amount. Some banks have a level of $100,000. If more money gets stolen from you over and above $100,000, they cannot help you with the difference. This is why I always say not your keys, not your crypto. If at least you have your crypto safe on a Ledger Nano at home or something similar, it's like keeping gold bricks in a vault. It is yours. You have access to it right away. Just remember to keep your keys safe. Do not keep them with the Ledger. Just the other day, I saw somebody post on Twitter, yeah, my car got broken into and they stole my laptop and my Ledger was in with my laptop as well as my private keys. And I just felt so bad. But people were saying, you shouldn't keep your private keys along with your Ledger, and that's kind of the number one rule. Okay, keep it safe in a separate part of your home or office or wherever. And, some people keep 2 copies of their private keys, one somewhere on premises and one somewhere else, not on the premises, just in case something happens. So Bitstamp now has insurance. Again, I'm partial to the Ledger. I do have an affiliate link in the description if you guys are interested in getting one of those. You don't have to use the link, though, if you don't want to. I'm going to keep moving along, though, guys, because the world is changing. And this from Martin Volk. Apparently, Coinbase received 1,914 requests from the FBI and the SEC. The world's most valuable crypto exchange, Coinbase, recently disclosed that it had a significant number of requests from law enforcement agencies in the world's largest economy, the US, and other parts of the globe. In its first ever transparency report, Coinbase disclosed that it currently serves about 38 million customers globally. Thus, it collected 1,914 requests from global law enforcement and government agencies in H1 2020, maybe that's supposed to say Q1 2020, that sought to get information on customers' details and their financial data. Unsurprisingly, the United States leads the pack with 58% of such requests. Others include law enforcement agencies from the United Kingdom, Germany, France, which filed for 441, 176, and 45 information requests, respectively. So, clearly also looking to make sure that the cryptocurrency industry is on the up and up. Clearly, with this financial reset, we are treading into very different waters. And I think at this point, this is the cleanup time for organizations like the FBI. They want to make sure that they have all their bases covered, make sure that they have all the people who have been laundering money so far through cryptocurrency, making sure that they're keeping an eye on the suspicious players and plugging up any holes within this system so as not to allow more crime to occur. This is why I'm thinking this is happening. I have a feeling it's part of a bigger effort to curb cryptocurrency crime, money laundering, all that stuff that we kind of want to forget about in the space. And guys, 88 million XRP on the move. This from Michael at Val5 Links through a South Korean ODL corridor. So let me read you some of this. Ripple has again set in motion a substantial amount of XRP together with its ODL partners in Europe and South Korea. And this totals about $21.2 million in fiat. So the XRPL monitor tracking service has reported that over the past 24 hours, the blockchain firm Ripple wired 20 million XRP. 10 million XRP was an internal transfer between Ripple's own wallets, and the other 10 million went to Bitstamp, Ripple's ODL corridor in Luxembourg. Prior to that transaction, Bitstamp also wired 8 million XRP between its wallets. We have seen more XRP transactions over the last year, I think, than ever before. The technology is ramping up. We are starting to see more proof of concept projects come out of proof of concept and now use XRP in real-world solutions, and I think this is going to be commonplace moving forward. So the XRP tracking bot also shared that major South Korean exchange Bitstamp made two gargantuan transfers of 55 million XRP and 13 million XRP. That 68 million XRP amounts to a whopping $16.4 million. So guys, I'll leave this article here if you want to read further. And as I just mentioned in this article, we are seeing more XRP transactions. We even heard Brad Garlinghouse mention at the top of the Swell event in his keynote speech that I think that we are seeing now something like $2 billion, that they have reached a new milestone of $2 billion running through XRP. So we are seeing more transactions flowing through XRP. However, is the timeline still the timeline that we initially were promised back in 2018? This from Kevin Cage here on Twitter. What's the latest comment from David on this? Has he addressed this recently? And I don't know if you guys remember this tweet from back in 2018. I have a good friend who is writing the programs for ICA, the big banks. This from David Rohrig, by the way. As he was telling us about the new software he was writing, I showed him Ripple. Both Ripple and his new product were almost identical. The bank's new stuff won't be released until 2021. And so David Schwartz responded to this back in 2018, as you guys can see down here. That's too late to do us any good. Our XRP strategy can't wait that long. So in this, he's talking about 2021 being that drop dead date. And David Schwartz saying, you know what, if it takes XRP that long to make waves in the ecosystem, that's too long for us. So I wanted to thank Kevin Cage for that. A few replies down here, and this is exactly what I think as well. I think the timeline has been pushed. And, we have heard reasons why that is. This from Yeshua Taylor. I think the original comment was far enough away that it was feasible. I highly doubt anyone could have foreseen the US dragging its feet like this. Jungle Inc. also responding, the U.S. dragging its feet is a problem for sure, but generally I think global regulatory clarity and support must be exceeding expectation. Price and liquidity, on the other hand, is lower than I would have expected across the board for all digital assets. So a lot of this is being pushed, and this is why, taking things from 2018 into today's context might be a little iffy. Nevertheless, it is good to have an understanding of what was going on back then to get a gauge on what is happening today. So I wanted to thank Kevin Cage and those who responded to this tweet thread here, Yeshua Taylor and Jungle Inc., for posting their 2 cents. I agree. We've been in this for so long. We've been hearing about the developments that have been occurring in the space, but we've also been hearing specifically from, the hires up at Ripple that the government needs to move on this because Ripple won't have a choice any longer. If the rest of the world is inviting cryptocurrency advancements into their countries and the United States is not, we are going to lose synchronicity with the rest of the world, and so that could be detrimental to the bottom line. As we had already heard, the U.S. economy is falling to number 2 next to China. China has now surpassed the U.S. economy by a few trillion, so let's keep that in mind. Regulatory clarity is going to be the game changer, but I wanted to also talk about this, guys, because I thought this was interesting. This from Kaboom12344 on Twitter. Now, I don't know where this is from. There is no source link, so I cannot confirm this, so take it with a grain of salt, guys. Take it for what you will. But this has to do with Jed McCaleb, the Stellar Initiative, XLM, and its role within the global financial system, working side by side with XRP. This technically should have been in yesterday's video, as I had mentioned this yesterday, although I did just see this information recently, so I did want to bring it to you. I will link yesterday's video up here in the top right-hand corner if you guys didn't catch that. But anyway, let me read you this. So Jeb McCaleb, co-founder of Ripple and Stellar, supporter of Lucas Trust, has family ties connecting him to the Federal Reserve and United Nations. I do not know that for a fact, guys, and I did not have time to look it up before doing this video, so if anybody can confirm that, please do put it down in the comments. So in 2014, he moved on from Ripple to create Stellar, giving the illusion that the two organizations were separate entities. Ripple and Stellar are like brother and sister, each providing something of value in the new world financial system. Ripple is said to be a cross-border payment provider with the use of XRP. It will be for a short period of time. Okay, what does that mean? So the world will not need a cross-border payment provider when we are using the Lumen. Stellar Lumens will become the world currency while XRP becomes a store of value. And so this is where I'm kind of questioning where they're getting their information from. The Lumen is digital silver and XRP is digital gold. The purpose of XRP is to be used in the derivatives market while also acting as a store of value. So we know we've heard, the fact that XRP can transfer anything to anything. Essentially, it will be that mode of transfer for anything valuable. That part I understand. However, the store of value part, I still can't get behind 100%. XRP is not and was never intended to be a currency, nor was it created to be used specifically for cross-border payments. When Codius is released, we will see its true purpose unveiled. Ripple and Stellar are the keys to the new world financial system, which will be ushered in as the old system collapses. Perfect timing. Now, again, I do not have the source for this. I am not saying that whoever wrote this is telling us the truth. Again, I still want to confirm this, so if you guys can help me out, put it down in the comments if you can find confirmation of this. After I upload this, I'm actually going back on Google and taking a look to see if I can find more information on this myself. I'll bring any updates to you guys tomorrow, but interesting to see that a coexistence between XRP and XLM could indeed make for a more robust financial system based on this explanation. Now, we've also seen this, guys, from XRP Crypto Wolf. The Stellar CEO will be part of the IMF annual meeting for cross-border payments. Yes, Danelle Dixon, she is a CEO at Stellar, will be part of a 4-person panel discussion on the private sector's role in addressing shortcomings of cross-border payments at the International Monetary Fund's annual meeting on Monday. It's going to be a webcast, obviously, because everybody's isolating at home. It immediately follows a panel of policymakers that include U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. As I have mentioned in a previous video, he is going to be talking on that panel as well. That will discuss the same topic that precedes one that discusses the public sector's role in cross-border payments. After will be a 4th panel consisting of the co-chairs of a task force set up to propose a roadmap of concrete actions to improve cross-border payments. So this time they've got Danelle Dixon, CEO of Stellar. Lends some legitimacy to the fact that XRP and Stellar could be both mutually exclusive to this new financial system. And guys, here's another one from Martin Volk. It kicks off in less than 2 hours. Some big IMF meetings with regards to cross-border payments, a vision for the future. And the panelists listed down here, the moderator, Kristalina Georgieva, of course, the managing director of the IMF, and Jerome Powell's going to be there, Augustin Carstens from the BIS. We're going to keep an eye on this, guys, because there are some interesting developments coming up. This from Ian Northing at Ian Bins on Twitter. The IMF is a government-owned global bank of last resort for bankrupt countries, which is often criticized for imposing harsh austerity measures. Rich countries, many locked down. Poor countries, 1 lockdown. IMF declares Bretton Woods dead. So, let's talk about this for a second. Kristalina Georgieva, the International Monetary Fund's managing director at Washington, D.C., has effectively declared the Bretton Woods financial system set up after the Second World War as finished. We must seize this new Bretton Woods moment, she says, to address some persisting problems like low productivity, slow growth, high inequalities, a looming climate crisis. We have seen global fiscal actions of $12 trillion. Major central banks have expanded balance sheets by $7.5 trillion. These synchronized measures have prevented the destructive macro-financial feedback we saw in a previous crisis. So, she argues, with the other side of it being the expectation that 2021 debt levels will go up significantly to around 125% of GDP in advanced economies, 65% of GDP in emerging economies, and 50% of GDP in low-income countries. Declaring the Bretton Woods financial system dead. You heard it here, guys. This is what Kristalina Georgieva is saying. Now, I also saw this from XRP Crypto Wolf, the Great Financial Reset. IMF Managing Director, again, Kristalina Georgieva, calls for a new Bretton Woods moment. So in addition to this, Kristalina Georgieva down here is calling for a new Bretton Woods moment. Georgieva spoke about the juncture on October 15th, and she stressed today's economic hardships are the same as the difficulties the world faced at the end of World War II. Free market advocates on social media and forums believe the IMF Managing Director's recent Bretton Woods speech would invoke increased suspicion because they allude to the fact that a huge change is coming. So the IMF published a speech written by Georgieva called A New Bretton Woods Moment. The article has caused sound money and free market advocates to grow concerned that a big change is coming and possibly a great financial reset. Well, I think it is happening. They have already been hashtagging it all over Twitter. And, everybody I talk to in the real world, I tell them, just go to Twitter, look at the IMF and the World Economic Forum's Twitter profile accounts, and you'll see they are hashtagging the Great Reset. You guys can do it. Unless they have deleted their tweets, they have been doing it. So this is no secret. Economists, analysts, and Bitcoiners have been discussing the IMF Managing Director's speech since it was published. Okay, so for those of you guys not familiar with Bretton Woods, I'm just going to post this up here, going to read this briefly. It was an agreement that was negotiated in July 1944 by delegates from 44 countries in the United Nations. And under the Bretton Woods system, gold was the basis for the US dollar, and other currencies were pegged to the US dollar's value. The Bretton Woods system effectively came to an end in the early 70s when President Nixon announced that the US would no longer exchange gold for US currency. If you guys want to read up more on that, I will keep this link in the description of the video for you guys. But let's keep going on with this. So a few days later on October 18th, macro strategist Raoul Paul says Georgieva's article alludes to a huge change coming to a global financial reset. If you don't think central bank digital currencies are coming, you are missing the big and important picture. He goes on to say this is going to be the biggest overhaul of the global financial system since Bretton Woods. This IMF article alludes to a huge change coming but lacks real clarity outside of allowing much more fiscal stimulus via monetary mechanisms. And tomorrow the IMF holds a conference on digital currencies, guys, that's happening today, and cross-border payment systems. So a huge overhaul, and it looks like things are lining up. Boy, 33 years ago today, we saw Black Monday. Coincidentally enough, the IMF is having meetings that could and likely will help usher in a great financial reset. Is it all a coincidence? Is somebody toying with us? I seriously don't know at this point. We're also seeing the financial industry like Fidelities. The Fidelities of the world saying, you know what, for their big, important institutional investors, have at it. Have at the cryptocurrency market. But for you retail guys, we're not terribly interested in you guys. You have to figure it out on your own if you even know about cryptocurrency. And if you don't, too bad for you. Also, we know the world has been struggling, even though it's not officially in the media, the mainstream media. China's economy has purportedly surpassed the US economy. So lots of things going on here, guys. And the icing on the cake, I had to bring this up because this is just, too coincidental to be a coincidence in my opinion. Interesting, I have been checking the IMF's SDR valuation, but it's not showing any updates since October 16th. This, by the way, by Matt Morrow at XRPMM on Twitter. What I find interesting, he says, is then I got sent another window system error asking me to contact, get this guys, FinTech at IMF. FinTech, SDR valuation, very, very interesting. And so he screen grabbed his computer screen here. Here's a description of what the SDR is. The current value of the SDR is determined by summing the values in US dollars based on market exchange rates of a basket of major currencies. So currently the US dollar, the euro, the Japanese yen, the pound sterling, and the Chinese renminbi. The SDR currency value is calculated daily except on IMF holidays or whenever the IMF is closed for business, and the valuation basket is reviewed and adjusted every 5 years. Continuing on to this, over here, sorry, so this is with regards to his inquiry. Sorry, an error occurred while processing your request. Please try again. If the problem persists, please email fintech@imf.org. It is interesting that they are forwarding him to an email that actually says in the email, fintech@imf.org, financial technology. Okay, this is with regards to the currency valuation, nothing that has to do with financial technology particularly. So the question then is, are we going to see a cryptocurrency become part of this new SDR? And I think you guys know where I'm going with this. Could this cryptocurrency be part of the new financial system? Could it be XRP? Not saying it is, but could it be XRP? Because we already know how important it's going to be with regards to this new financial reset, guys. I want to hear what you think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.